If anybody doesn't have a lot of losses, they're really not working hard enough. They're not taking enough chances. And that's what I think more people need to do. Like, you have to take care of everybody else before yourself. Everybody gets paid before you can even think about taking $1 for your family or everything. Like, it's so much responsibility from being a business owner compared to an employee.
So what do you think has separated the really great stores from the ones who might not have performed as well as they did?
When I'm reading how to do a business plan, it's like,
welcome to the Wealthy Business Podcast. I'm your host, Javi Chavez, COO of Pineda Company, where we own and operate 5 different 7 to 8 figure businesses. Today, I have Chris Burns on the podcast. Chris is the owner. Would you consider yourself the CEO or the CEO of Killerz? He has multiple franchises. What do we have? 150 on Instagram, about 1 million on TikTok. Yep. So crushes it on social, crushes it on business, has created a really viral product in the food space. So very excited to have him on the podcast. But Chris, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Good. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Happy to have you. So yeah, walk us through, you kind of told us before the podcast, but walk me through what your progression was to kind of get here and start this business that you've been operating for the last 4 years.
All right. So pretty much it started in, I believe, 2018. I had been working in government for, at that point, 11 years. My wife had been working in insurance for, I think, 10 years at that point. And we realized it was time for a change. So I started keeping a notepad for, notes in my iPhone for different businesses that I wanted to start. And at this point, I still do it today. There's probably over 100 different ideas. So I was like, you know what, I need to try to start a business that I thought that I can finance and would be easy to do, because I've tried to start other businesses, but I need other people's money. So it was pretty much impossible to go out and say, hey, who wants to give me $1 million to start this idea that's in my head? So I realized that wouldn't work. So I stopped on serial killers, and I was like, let me see if we can get this off the ground. So I started doing a business plan. I did everything possible to try to be prepared, looked at old cereal bars that were open, and just try to make it my own. So started looking for a space. That took forever. No landlord wanted to rent it out to a cereal bar because it was a new concept, a new idea. Yes, there had been a couple throughout the country, but it really didn't blow up as much as it has now. So we finally got a space, and I thought it was going to be like, I think the worst thing about doing a business plan is you actually believe it the first time you do it. Like, if we can just get 1% of the people who walk through this mall, we're going to make $500,000 selling cereal. Like, it was really crazy. So we finally, after delays, we finally got our first store open, and it didn't go as good as we thought it would be. Like, we were in a mall, and when we signed the lease, it was the summer, and it was so many people in and out. But the minute school started, it was a ghost town. And not understanding how much rent costs and overhead. Like, if I tell you guys, like, we have a store on the Las Vegas Strip right now, and this was a mall that's slowly but surely dying. Our rent at that mall was more than we pay on the Strip.
Wow.
Like, it was just, but I didn't know, because you believe those numbers in the business plan. You're like, oh, we'll be able to cover rent, but you actually have to execute those things. And at that point, having 0 followers, like, so when we realized kind of like how the customer, like kind of how they react and kind of how they do things, a family wouldn't want to come to the mall to park, go
to get your place, right?
Dealing with all that. So we, and then, 5 months later, COVID started. So it was just like a perfect storm of the worst things that can happen, but it was actually some of the best things that could happen to us, because like, it gave us a chance to actually learn business, how to pivot, how to do different things when our back is against the wall. So it was definitely a great learning experience. I call it like, instead of wasting X amount of dollars to go to college, we just learned on the fly.
Yeah, you just spent the money.
We just spent the money that way. So that was definitely how that started.
So walk me through. So what was the biggest challenge in that first, 4 to 6 months?
Besides COVID?
Yeah, besides COVID.
Just not having an understanding of anything. It was literally just, let's do it. Like, we had no operations, we had no SOPs, we literally had nothing. So it was just like besides the fact that our construction was about 6 months delayed, And then instead of, opening a store on time and then having money in reserves, we were paying rent for 6 months.
Wow.
So it's like you start off in a hole and it's so hard to dig yourself out, especially if I know now that if we're going to do another project, another business, that like you plan, like people put contingency money in place for just in case, because for some reason construction is never on time. I don't know why anybody gives you an estimate. So like I say, but just all that stuff we didn't know. So that was probably the biggest challenge, is starting off in a hole. Like just like imagine you starting a business. If everything goes right, at least you have like $20,000-$30,000 in the bank, but paying $60,000 in rent for 6 months, it's like, what do you do when like really it wasn't like we had investors at that point. It was literally income that we have saved from working for the government and stuff for all those years. So it's just like, wow, everything we put aside is pretty much gone at this point.
Yeah, I think that's a good lesson for anybody who's getting into physical retail space. Contractors will never, ever, ever be on time. So my girlfriend's opening a salon right now. She submitted the permits in April. It's now August, and they're still waiting because they've had to go back and forth with the city, the contractors, and so it's. I know it's tough.
And Lord, don't ask for a change. Oh, change order. Okay, that's going to add another 2 or 3 weeks. So that's the difficult part. That it's just I like to do things on my own. Like I will YouTube. I go to YouTube University. I will try to fix something before I call somebody out, because I just have this weird thing that I want to try to do it on my own first. So I wish that I knew all the trades, because I really would try to do it on my own. And like I try to help them. Like I'll do demo, like I'll do anything to speed the process up, but you're kind of on their time, and then they kind of have 4 or 5 different projects that they're working simultaneously with the same employees, and they kind of just contractors do better. Like just let me find one good honest contractor. That'd be nice.
Been yet to find one. No, we have quite a few over at our house flipping business who do well, but it takes a long time to find those people for sure. So COVID happens. 6 months in, how do you transition from that first store now to the store on the strip that's doing much better now?
Well, that was actually that's actually the 4th store.
Oh, wow. Okay.
On the strip. So COVID happened, and we kind of seen the writing on the wall, because we were in a mall. So we were part of like that last group that was allowed to open back up. So we were completely shut down.
Wow.
For 4 months. I think we're the last group of people who businesses that were allowed to come back. So we had another opportunity. I was actually meeting one of my friends in the Centennial area at a parking lot to give them some clothes, because my son had outgrew them for like their nephew or something. And then I saw a space that was empty, and I was like, that'd be a quick turnaround for us. We can get that one open pretty quick, because it's pretty much set up how we want it. So that's kind of how we've done it. Instead of going through contractors and stuff, we've just been remodeling like other ice cream places or Subways, any kind of quick service type places. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, we can probably, just move our equipment over here, get it open, and get everything done pretty quick, in which we
So were you paying double rent then?
Huh?
Were you paying first, or did you end the lease at the...
No, we're still paying rent. We're still at the other store.
Oh, okay, so you kept it. Gotcha.
So I was like, we should try this. So it's in a neighborhood, but we didn't sign the lease because it was still COVID. And I was like, hey guys, like, I don't know if this is a good idea, because like all these rules, 6 feet away. But I asked our agent, I let him know, I said, hey, we'll take this chance, we'll sign the lease, but they have to put a COVID clause into our lease, which I would honestly say, because this is July of 2020, I think COVID started in early 2020. Mm-hmm. We're probably the first ones in the city that has a COVID clause. Like, wow. I don't know if anybody else does, but
Smart,
it was, if for any reason we get shut down, that we don't have to pay rent. If the government shuts us down, we don't have to pay rent for those months. We're exempt no matter what. So for the next 7 years that we have a lease for, that if there's any unnatural disaster, I guess, that we are protected.
How did you think of that? Did you hear about that somewhere, or was that just something that naturally you came up with?
No. It was just because the mall is calling like, hey, we need rent. And I'm like, guys, like, we haven't been open in 4 months. Like, I don't know what you guys expect. Like, so it was like, now we have to protect if we're going to take a chance with the landlord right now during COVID, like, you guys are going to have to give us something back. And they understood, they weren't, what are they going to do? Let it just sit vacant? They'd rather get some money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was a good idea I think I had.
Oh no, I think it's a great
Thankfully
idea.
we haven't had to use it, but so I think that should be like, yeah, you shouldn't be exempt from paying rent, but you should have some time. You should get at least like, if you're closed for 3 months, you should probably get at least 5 or 6 months to be able to get caught back up, because who just has that money sitting around unless you're McDonald's or something.
Yeah, that's really smart though, and I think that's a thing that like a lot of entrepreneurs or just people in general don't understand, that they have a lot of ability to negotiate
Yeah.
with leases or just really anything. Like anything can be negotiable, and some people just look at a contract and end up signing it, as opposed to like in your case, like no, I want a COVID clause, and it worked out, right? So
Yeah.
that's huge. Super smart. And then so that was your second store.
Yeah, that was Centennial. So we're coming out of COVID, and then we were supposed to open that store in July of 2020, but we got the Shark Tank call. So it was like, okay, do we open it and then be gone for a week and then come back, or do we just wait? So we pushed it out 2 or 3 weeks. But so after we got back from filming Shark Tank, we opened the store, and we had probably a 3-hour line for a couple weekends in a row.
That's awesome.
So it's like, I knew it wasn't us. It was just the other location. Like, it was kind of like, okay, like I know we were onto something. All of our Yelp reviews are 4 and 5 stars. Like, I just didn't understand, of course, not understanding business, that why that store in the mall wasn't doing so good.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm seeing families of 5 and 6 all the time, instead of just, so it was really just, like I said, I always like when I'm reading how to do a business plan, it's like location, location, location. I'm like, no, it's not. It's more like social media, but
Absolutely.
It's definitely location. Like that's so we opened that. Everything is just going great. Like finally, it's like,
really quick though. Tell me
really
about,
quick.
so I know you can't speak too much about the Shark Tank thing, but like walk me through that process. So you guys obviously submitted for them, right?
Yeah. So pretty much, like I think like everything happens in its own time. So I was watching an episode, like I never watch it like on a set schedule. It's just all of a sudden I'll start binge watching.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe we should go on Shark Tank. Let me see like what the process is. So I went on their website, and it had a list of open calls, and the open call in Las Vegas was the next day.
Oh wow.
At they do it right along with CES. So I was like, okay, maybe I should go. Maybe I should try to, So I was like, what should I do? I was like, it'd be funny if I got like a Jason mask so I can be a serial killer, but really just trick them and sell cereal.
That's good.
So I couldn't find any masks because it wasn't around Halloween. So I went down like the party aisle at Walmart, and I saw like a Jason plate. So like I cut the eyes, like I made myself a super ghetto mask. So then my wife was super pregnant at that point. I think she was like 8 months. So she didn't really want to go stand in line. So I went and stood in line at the Venetian for about 7-8 hours.
Wow.
Just to pitch to the casting director. So you have to pretty much pitch your idea to them, and then they'll go pitch your idea to the producers. And if the producers like you, they'll reach out to you, and then you go through the whole process with them. So I did it. I was one of the last ones because people were lined up at 3 or 4 in the morning. But so yeah, that went good. And getting that call was like one of the best. I thought one of the best days ever, because it was a show that I loved. I still love to this day. But so yeah, that was definitely a fun process. It's a lot of work. It's stacks of paperwork and releases, and you have to make videos for them, and like it's you're pitching. It's like a job interview where you're pitching different levels, and they always want you to do better. And it's just like, okay, and then you still don't know if you're going to be on the show. Even if you film it, you don't know if you're going to be on the show. So it's just it was definitely a fun experience. Difficult because of COVID, but having to do all that quarantine stuff, and once the show actually filmed, we had a newborn baby. So being away from him for the first time was like, oh no, like what's my son doing? And then being stuck in a room, like that was trash.
Yeah, so how long was, like when you actually get there to film, how long was that day? Like, is it like a full 12-hour day of like filming, or did you just pop in for a certain amount of time?
Well, usually each pitch is between an hour to 90 minutes, hour and a half. But just with all the COVID restrictions, they have you in holding. They bring you down. You're kind of just waiting until like, let's just say if they're doing 10 a day, if they're doing 10 sessions a day, if you're in the morning session, you'll go down to like 8. If you're in the afternoon, you'll probably go at like 1, but then you're just waiting until it's your turn. You don't know when your turn is. They'll just come, hey, let's go. You guys have 20 minutes, get all your stuff together. So that's kind of how that went. But
Nice.
it was definitely like you walk out and you're like, wow, there's Mark Cuban over there. What up, Mark? Like,
Yeah,
and
that's sick.
you play all these, how you're going to negotiate your deal. You never think that you're not going to get a deal, but
Yeah.
it was definitely fun.
Yeah, so obviously didn't work out, but
Yeah.
now you have all this free marketing essentially, right? And so you're saying like you got lines.
Well, when we opened the Centennial store, the episode didn't air yet.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
so
the store's already doing really well.
Yeah,
then.
at that point, without them. And unfortunately, because Vegas was shut down still for the most part in early 2001 and stuff, we didn't really get to capitalize off of that experience. Like we get a couple people, from Vegas. Hey, we saw you on Shark Tank. We're going to go here. But like a lot of the Shark Tank watchers from around the country, because we didn't have a product to ship them or anything. It didn't really like they trickle in, but it really didn't translate too much from it. Like people always say, hey, I saw you on Shark Tank, or they remember us from it because the episode's probably aired 15, 20 times by now. But that immediate bump because of the show, it really didn't happen because there was nobody allowed to travel to Vegas really, or they were scared to. So and then we weren't on the Strip at that point. Like we had the store open on the Strip, we might have seen something different, but yeah. So like it was a fun experience. It's a good thing on the resume. It's good to look back on the videos, but business wise, I'm not going to say it didn't help the numbers right away, but it did open us up to other investors. So that's where it really mattered for us.
Nice. So walk me through that process. So now, when did you start getting outside investors for the business?
I think we took an investor probably 2 or 3 months after the show aired. Like, a lot of people reached out and you don't know who's real, who's fake. And it's like you finally do your own due diligence. And at least now it's like, it's not all the pressure of, being on, of them telling you, because like I said, the Sharks could have said, we want 80%. And it's a good chance you might just say, okay, just because of
who they are.
And who they are.
They bring.
And then, but not even understanding how investment works and stuff. But so we did get an investor, a little investment group after that. And that's how we opened our next 2 stores. So we used that money to open those stores. We probably shouldn't have tried to open 2 stores at once. We probably should have did one, the Strip, and then the other one. Because like I said, it's only 2 of us running the day-to-day with a newborn. Well, he's like 1 at that point. So just a lot of learning and, like I said, I don't think college, even, we did go to business school, you wouldn't learn a lot of this stuff that happens in the real day-to-day of a business and stuff. But yeah, like I said, it's just been a roller coaster. Like we have a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And I hate that people don't talk about their downs in business. They always talk about yay when they're up here, but don't realize that like if anybody doesn't have a lot of losses, they're really not working hard enough. Like they're not taking enough chances. And that's what I think more people need to do. Like everything is not peachy. We only show the peachy stuff online. Like that's it. Like we don't show you the days that you're sleeping, that you're not sleeping, that you have tears in your eyes, that you're tired. And then everybody, like you have to take care of everybody else before yourself. Everybody gets paid before you can even think about taking $1 for your family or everything. Like it's so much responsibility from being a business owner compared to an employee. Like, yeah. And I think being like in management and government was a lot easier. It was a lot easier.
Yeah. If entrepreneurship was easy, we'd have a lot more business owners. A lot more. But yeah, so I think that's huge too. You're right. Everybody online always talks about, the watches, the whatever the money that they're making. Yeah. So walk me through, maybe one of the most notable losses that you've taken in business.
Man, so we can start with the first store not working out. Like that's a big loss. And, what can you do besides learn from that? Yeah. Going on Shark Tank in front of 10 million people and not getting a deal because they're like, we don't know if retail is going to come back. But granted, there's been 5 stores since then. So at least we won that one.
You're right.
So we've opened, I would say every time we open a store, it's like, okay, we have a really great one. Then we have one that's not doing so good. Then a really great one. So like it's just trying to find that balance.
So really quick on that note. So what do you think has separated the really great stores from the ones who might not have performed as well as
Location.
Yeah.
Like
location.
It all goes back to that. I always say like for our store that we had in Henderson, like I'm not going to say we because I can't speak for her, but I got cocky with the success of the Strip and Centennial. Like we can open anywhere. Like it doesn't matter what part of the parking lot it's in, but then like, and not really doing the research on the area, on the space. Like I said, now it's like before we open a location, we kind of have a plan. You know, we kind of have requirements because we're a dessert place. We need restaurants around us. You know, that would really help us instead of going in a shopping center with nail salons and hair salons and puppy washing places, and they all close at 5:00, and we're not opening until 3. So it's like it's kind of just our job to bring everybody in instead of being the dessert for all these restaurants. And
That's
stuff.
really smart. So part of your list is, okay, you want to be in an area that has other restaurants nearby. So that way, you know, people will trickle in. What else is on that list of requirements for a new location?
Well, for us, I think we need to be, we can draw people in if they see us. So like besides like, you know, like I said, we're going to pivot to the new concept of serial killers. The serial killers, I call it 3.0, I guess that's where we're at now. But like say, we want to be in hotels and stuff like that, like casinos with shopping malls, not really suburban malls, but more like on the Strip or something like that. Airports, that's going to be really big for us when we can finally break through. Even if it's going to be like shopping centers, maybe more in like college towns where you have a lot of the students. Because like our store in Utah, thankfully, like we really don't even need a location because we get so much DoorDash and Uber Eats from the college students. So you know, so like I said, it's really just I would say like walkable, heavy foot traffic places. That's kind of the only way to continue to scale, I would say, our normal brick and mortar location without the drive-throughs. Like because there's only so much that you're gonna make, which like say it's still great because our margins are so crazy. Like everything, I would say we have like an 85% margin on every item we sell. It's just making sure we get everybody in because nothing like what's really expensive. We like let's just go through. So a scoop of ice cream might cost us 20 cents. We use 3 scoops for a milkshake, maybe 20 cents worth of cereal. Yeah, so like there's not that much that goes.
Very high margin.
Yeah, very high margin. So it's just getting more customers in because like even on the Strip where we're at, like let's just say for us to have $1,000 day, like $1,000 day would be probably 90 customers, you know, spending $10 a person. So we have to get 90 customers in when Foot Locker can sell 4 pair of shoes and hit that. So it's like we probably have the most customers almost in that mall, but it's like we're not making that revenue because our price point. So we have to work so much harder to earn these customers. So like that's like, you know, just because of the price point. So it's just making sure we have that foot traffic that supplements what we already bring in.
Love it. And so how did you end up landing on social media as like the vehicle to start getting some of this foot traffic?
Well, we did it before we even opened the first store because it was kind of like it's what you have to do. So yeah, we did that, and then we just started posting. And the good thing about not being like a super formal company and stuff, and it's like you throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. So we just stay consistent. I think consistency is the number one thing. Like our content isn't the best, but you know, once something hits, if you just stay consistent on that, like you build a little following. So it's just, I was like, I need to do 3 posts a day and just let's see what happens. And then all of a sudden, everybody loves our cereal challenge. I would say in 2022, was that last year? We had probably close to 200 million views on our social media platforms. And that's just posting 3 times a day. Yeah, and I took a nice long 5-month break.
Oh no.
Just got so burnt out because I was chasing these invisible numbers that I thought would make me feel better. Like, 100,000 on Instagram. Like it's gonna be like some kind of parade or something.
Yeah.
1 million on TikTok. Like, okay. Changes. 1,000,003. All right, now what? So it's just.
So How long did it take you before like your first videos started to pop off?
True. I would say we really, for the first year, we like, it was pretty much just Instagram, like viral. Nothing really went viral too much. Like, it'd be like, I'd be happy, like, if we hit like 10,000 views, like, that'd be like a win. But, kind of like once we got into TikTok is really when things really started going crazy. We had a couple videos finally hit a million. It's like, okay. Then we looked up and 3 months later we had 100,000 followers, and it's all because of my, some of my employees are always coming in. I'm like, what are you, I'm watching them on camera. They're doing all these weird dances. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Now you got to get on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So then they finally convinced me. I let them do it at first, and yeah, it was going okay. And then I just took it over, and
Nice.
they helped record it. They came up with some of the ideas. So we just kind of built it through there. And
So just to reiterate, so it was like 3 posts a day for a year before you really started seeing some like quality results.
yeah,
And then you guys just kept it consistent.
Well,
and
probably the first year, it was probably, I was just trying to post one video. Well, not even videos, one picture at that point, because videos weren't even really popular.
yeah,
I was trying to post one time a day. I was trying to be consistent then. But once we got to TikTok and I really like saw the growth, and that's when I switched to at least 3 days, 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
that's really where it just blew up. We probably from the first year of TikTok, we probably got to 600,000 or 700,000 followers. And then probably like another 5 or 6 months, we got over the million mark.
That's huge.
And
Yeah,
we're
that's what
almost-
we tell a lot of our like students at like our Wealthy Creator program at Pineda Media, the agency that we work at. It's like, dude, it's gonna take at least a year of consistency, before you're really gonna see like some huge growth.
That's
Every now and then, like you said, you got onto TikTok and then the video started doing well pretty early on, but it takes time, man.
And it's even
people
harder
just don't
now.
want. Yeah. Oh, it's way
Yeah.
harder now because everybody's posting content. But I still think it's really early on.
Yeah.
I still think that like if a new business were to come in and start posting today, there's still a lot of opportunity. I still don't think there's like, it's harder for sure, but there's still opportunity.
But yeah, it's a free commercial. Like for one, who even watches? I'm not going to say people don't really watch cable TV that much.
Mhm.
It's mostly everything stream. And it's like, do you want to go like in the old days? Like, I don't understand how anybody survived in the old days. Like, who can afford a TV space at 2 a.m? That's probably when it'd be on,
Mhm.
or a newspaper or a magazine. So it's just like you have an opportunity every day to make a commercial that can possibly reach millions of people. Like,
Exactly.
for us at this point now, if we don't hit like on TikTok, like when I was consistent, if we didn't hit like 100,000 views, it was a failure in my opinion. Like, cause like that should be the bare minimum. And it was like, say everything that we would do would be in the hundreds of thousands for a nice stretch when I was consistent.
Mhm.
But the minute you're not consistent, it starts treating you like everybody else. Like
Yeah.
having 1 million followers means nothing if you're not consistent.
Yep.
Because the algorithm gets all messed up and it turns against you and you get shadow banned, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is, but
It's true though, yeah, because I mean that and all those other videos that got the hundreds of thousands, those pour into the next video,
Yeah,
the next video.
it rolls it over.
You have to be consistent. The second you're not, like you said, it gets tough for sure.
and stop
So-
trying to make the perfect video.
Yeah, you just gotta
'Cause-
put it out.
Yes, just put everything out. And then like if you don't like it too much, delete it, I guess. But like stuff pops 3 or 4 weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody like they always use this one for like some of our videos that shouldn't have went viral, but they did. Like somebody asked for some ice in their cereal. I was like, do you guys really do this? Put ice in it. Like 6 million views. Like it's just the stuff that you never expect
Yeah.
that you put no energy into is what pops off. When you really try to write out a script and get lights and stuff, it just doesn't work.
It's authenticity.
Anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. Because you're just, and again, you put it up. It's not very high. Like I think the less highly produced videos do really well on TikTok because people want to see just like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're pouring
Day in
ice
the
into
life.
something or your life, or it doesn't need to be this. Like when we do our podcasts and stuff, it's like very highly produced, but. Those videos actually don't do very well on TikTok. They do well on Instagram when we chop these up into reels and all that. But like the ones that do the best, at least for me on my TikTok, it's those ones where I'm talking at the camera or I'm doing something, and
Yes.
those ones do way better for sure.
Way better. That's
So-
yeah, it's so weird. Like I think that's why the big companies, McDonald's and all them, I think for their following and for their budget, they struggle on social
yeah.
media. And that's why they pay all these influencers. It's like, why do you guys pay all these marketing people millions of dollars, well, let's say hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to go get influencers to do all the work? Like
Yep.
at some point, you guys are going to realize you're wasting a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
We'll see. That's
yeah, well,
funny.
they're never going to realize it.
So tactical business stuff now. So obviously when you first open up, you don't have very many SOPs, don't have very many processes, probably don't have anything at all.
Don't even know what an SOP is really at that point.
And so how do you start developing those things? So now when you open, so what's the process look like now when you open a new store? Do you have a lot of that stuff still, or are you guys winging it still?
No. Well,
I guess everyone's winging it.
no. Well, no, say we have everything we need at this point because, like I said, opening that Arizona store, we had to get all that information and stuff to him. So we have like a training manual, how you want to, how to open a store, stuff like that. Now we're working with another restaurant group, and we're, like I said, I thought we weren't winging it, but I realized we were still kind of winging it, like not really having like the back office system that breaks down your cost of goods, your employees, how much, it's just pretty much all your analytics of your business. So like that's what we're getting into now to really bring everything together. So yeah, we're still growing in that aspect, but like I said, it's different. Like say our biggest issue has always been like not having the financial backing to scale. It's always just been like we have enough to open, so go grow it. So I think once we get all that situated, I think there's so much potential in our business still. Like I said, we can make over $1 million. We have over $1 million in a year, but we still spend zero money on marketing.
That's huge.
And like that's good, but it's terrible because it's not how we should be operating and growing our business. But it's always been like, what's more important at this time, paying employees or paying for Facebook ads or doing stuff like this. So we really maximize our free resources, and it has to be, social media or going into events or just, doing anything we can. So as we continue to grow and we have like financial backing, I think every store can at least improve 30 to 40%. I mean, just by running ads and everything. And like say, I have to, meet somebody who can help me, because running ads for our neighborhood stores compared to the strip, like how does that work? Like how do you hit people that are in town for 2 or 3 days? So it's just still a lot more learning that I have to do personally. Like I hate when people think they have all the answers because they really don't. And there's always other people that have more experience. And that's what I try to do. Anytime someone needs help or have questions, I try to help them so they don't have to experience all the mistakes that I've made just on the go, like not having mentors or anything like that. Just literally throwing myself to the wolves. So that's the biggest thing, is just trying to make things a little easier going forward.
I gotcha. So with all of these products, right, because you have so many different ingredients, so many different cereals, so many different flavors of ice cream, how do you manage all of that inventory?
Well, it's simple, but it's easy because we only sell 3 different ice creams.
Okay.
Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. That's your base. So then you choose what you want. So it's really like, getting this, making sure we keep all the cereals is a little hard at times, especially if we post about a cereal and then it's sold out or something. But we kind of use the same. It's just pick your cereal, pick your milk, pick your ice cream. Like the day-to-day part of it is pretty simple.
And
when it comes to that.
Was that always the case, or did you guys start off with a bunch of different things, or did you always know that it was going to be 3 milk and then your ice cream?
It was pretty much that because we only have so much space in our first store for ice cream, so we couldn't have 15 different ice creams. And I know that those are the standard 3 most popular flavors, and they kind of go well with all the different flavors of cereal. So it was just, I don't like, every time I'm so picky, like let's say if I go get a cheeseburger, I'm like, no pickles, no onions, add tomato. So I'm like, let people just customize, let them choose what they want to do. So one, we're not really responsible for giving them something nasty, but kind of, put that pressure back on them. But really quick, we realized that people, they don't like making decisions. Like they're like, oh no, it's so overwhelming seeing over 100 cereals. So then we were like, well, let's just make some specialty milkshakes. So I came up with a couple of ideas. They had more premium ingredients, so it costs a little more. And all of a sudden, all of our numbers grow about 20%.
Yeah.
Because everybody wants to just pick off of the board. So
Nice.
that was another big moment in our thing is adding a couple. We have 10 specialty milkshakes and people love them. That's probably 60% of the milkshake sales are the more
Wow.
expensive that cost 30% more. So nice way to make a couple extra dollars.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
so basically, so it out of necessity, you only kept the three ice cream flavors, and
Yep.
then eventually moved into like the specialty milkshakes, which
Yep.
is I think super smart.
Which are they're still
Yeah.
made with the ingredients of the basics, but there's more. So
Yeah.
like we have Pop Tarts we put in shakes, we have brownies, we have Ferrero Rochers. So
Mhm.
we've added more premium ingredients with Nutellas and cookie butters, but
Mhm.
it's just it doesn't really cost us as much more. Well, it doesn't cost
Nice.
us more. It actually saved us money because just the margins are a little
Gotcha.
better on those.
So now moving into you as the COO, like what does your day to day look like?
Oh man, it changes so much. Like I say, my wife does the operation. She's more of the operation side, so she's getting the products ordered, all the inventory, all the payroll. Yeah, she does all that stuff. I'm more now on like the creative side. I
Mhm.
do the social media, all those different strategies. If I have to cover a shift, I'll go in and cover like I
Wow.
did the last 5 days because 5 people were on vacation. Um, yeah, I'm more of like what's next. I'm more of the what's next and how to actually build the business from behind the scenes. She's more of the day to day operations person. So
Nice.
thankfully, that's not what I'm good at. It's weird because I'm really good with people, but I'm not good with
Mhm.
all that paperwork and stuff.
Oh,
So
for sure.
yeah, so she does all that. I do pretty much just like the creative side. Like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna boost sales here? What kind of collaborations can we do? Let me reach out to my foodie friends. I do most of the store work on the stores out of state, stuff like that. So
Nice.
like some days, like today, there's really nothing like I had to do besides post some content. But tomorrow, I'll be in the store all day shooting content. So I try to pick a day where I go shoot the content, and then and I should be editing it all for the week, but I edit usually the day of, and I'm
Wow.
pretty fast
So
of it
you're
now.
editing all the videos too?
Yeah, I do
That's
everything.
wow.
Yeah, we keep like we don't. Yeah, that's the goal for like the goal is as we grow and get more revenue is we're going to start getting rid of everything that we can.
Mhm.
But
Of course.
when you're starting out, you're doing everything. You're doing the laundry. You're doing everything.
Mhm.
So I think every time we open a new store, it gets better and better and better. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's it like working with your spouse?
I wouldn't recommend it,
Yeah.
and I think she feels the same way. It's probably the it's a terrible idea. It's it just is because like if I'm upset because of something that happened with an employee and I go home with her, I can't just shut it off. Like you're still
Yeah.
going to be upset. So it's just like it's just unnecessary headbutts because if you're having a bad day at work, you can't just shut it off. Like you can't just say, "Okay, we're at home, we're happy."
Yeah.
So I think it's stressful.
I bet.
I wouldn't recommend like it's cool like if you guys like invest in something together or like support each other in their businesses like when asked,
Mhm.
but running a business together, especially when you have kids, like because both of you guys can't be gone all the time, So
Mhm.
especially having stores out of state, it's a tough balance,
I
just
bet.
trying to balance life, your family, your relationship, like something's gonna suffer. So, I think you shouldn't have to choose between a happy life or a business. So it's great. Like I said, at the end of the day, if I have a business, she has a business, we're married, it's yours technically. So just kind of do your own thing
Yeah.
if possible. Like,
Yeah, because it's tough. Yeah, because like you said, I feel like if you're running in, if there's a challenge in the business,
yeah,
you're gonna inevitably want to talk about it at home, and then so it probably just never turns off.
yeah, never turns off, especially when you have people calling out at 4 a.m. and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
you're going to go in and cover who's going to. So yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
easier to
so-
have a conversation like, how was your, like, there's no, how was your day anymore?
Because
It's,
yeah, you know how the day was.
I know how the day was. Like, yeah, did you see what it's, yeah. So that's a challenging part. So thankfully, like, we'll be able to probably soon partner, get a lot of the data, get a lot of the challenging issues out of the way by partnering with the group and stuff.
Yeah,
So
that'll be
I
smart.
think that will definitely help. And we can say it's been 5 years, and we can chase some other aspirations and do some other things separately that we want to do.
Nice.
Because it's always like, okay, who's really in charge? That's always the question. It's like, if I make the decision, like, it's just so much pressure. Like, especially if you don't like what the other person's doing. So
Yeah, I mean, getting in business partnerships by themselves are
period.
difficult,
Yeah.
right? Like it doesn't even matter because you're dealing with emotions. This person, like they might take it the certain type of way, and then you just amplify that, I'm sure, by making that, your life partner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. So you mentioned something too with people calling out. So what's it like having, 15 to 20-year-olds being the main staffing source for your store?
It's terrible. It's mostly because of the cell phones. Like,
Yeah.
they forget, like I say, I'm old at this point, I think, being mid-30s, but like they forget that we were young and
Hmm.
our generation started cell phones for the most part, like made them popular. Like we know all the tricks. Like we know if you're looking down, like we,
Yeah.
we know what's going on. Like, and it's just like they they think that there's not that, like, I'm not talking about like smart, like intelligence, but they think
Sneaky.
that they're sneaky. And it's just like, we did this, like we probably taught you how to do it.
Yeah, we started
Yes, we
this.
started this. Like, and it's like every generation, and they're gonna say it also. They're always every generation is gonna say the last generation doesn't want to work or they're lazy.
Mhm.
Like it's just a circle of life. So yeah, we're saying it to the younger generation. They're gonna say it like it's just, but I think that with the world and everybody getting canceled, you're not allowed to do this. Like I just think the world is soft now. And
Yep.
their even older people, their emotions are too tied. They get their feelings hurt too easy. Like you can't give any constructive criticism, and then like the internet teaches them, well, just quit then if you're not happy.
Yeah, quiet
If you're
quitting and all
if
that.
you're
Yeah.
if you're not like, I think that mental health is, like, especially owning a business, and I understand like it is the most important thing in life, but a lot of people use it just as an excuse.
Yeah, it's a
At this
cop out
point,
sometimes too.
it's a cop out. Oh, I just mentally I just have to quit. I'm like, you're just having a bad day.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't think they're built like us.
Yeah. I mean, dude, social media, like, because obviously I'm a little bit younger than you, but like, we grew up without having that for the majority of like
We had to play outside.
yeah, playing outside and all that. And like, now these kids, like, from like 10 years old on, are just on TikTok and
Listen,
scrolling. So who knows what that's doing to the
my
brain too,
my
right? Like,
son is
yeah,
3 years old. His grandma bought him an iPhone, and he can work on the iPhone better than his grandparents.
I believe
Like
it.
YouTube, everything. He pulls it up, puts his code in. So it's, who knows? Like I say,
Yeah.
it's a gift and a curse. Like, especially when you're tired, you kind of get a break, but it's also like, what is it doing to him? Like, go outside and play. But I wouldn't let him go outside and play because it's not safe. Like, I don't know. Like in our days, we were allowed to just run around the neighborhood all day, but it's like, I let my son go outside at 4 or 5, or
Yeah.
so it's a different world we live in.
Mhm. It's tough. So you've kind of alluded to it, but what's next on the roadmap for you guys?
Yeah, so pretty much we want to switch to like more of the drive-through, like Dutch Bros concept. We realize, just with COVID and the change in customer habits, they don't want to come in and sit around and wait. So we want to develop like this more fast-paced, all-in-one dessert concept. So let's just say, and kind of like crumble cookies, how they kind of have like a rotating menu. So we want to do all these cool things. So we'll have, let's just say if this week it's cinnamon toast crunch, we'll have cinnamon toast crunch waffles, pancakes, cinnamon toast crunch cookies, like just everything based around whatever 4 options we choose. So instead of just having cookies rotate, our whole menu will rotate to have all these different specialties. And like I said, we're going to add hot coffees and espressos, cappuccinos. So it's just bringing everything more on the go, and a more fast paced, quick service.
Got it.
So going from Chipotle to Dutch Bros, kind of pretty much how we're set up now.
Nice. I love the idea of the drops, right? Because like I know in the early days of Crumble, every now and then I'll still look too, but like I would every Sunday I'd be like, oh,
What's new?
Yeah, what flavors they got, what cookies they got, and and you see that a lot with, I mean, Supreme, all these other companies who do that kind of limited drop concept, and it
Bring
does
you back.
really well.
Yeah, it builds that that demand that you can't just bring, like, I don't know why I keep using McDonald's today, but just having the Big Mac and the quarter pounder every week.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, okay, and now you're putting a time limit on it. If I don't get it, I'm going to miss out.
Yeah.
And
It
then,
might get sold out.
yeah,
Something happens. Yeah.
and then you kind of build this brand loyalty at the same time. So I think that's we'll still have our standard menu, obviously, but I think that's the biggest thing, and creating more retention with our customers and stuff, and a lot more engagement, just kind of how we're going to do the videos and stuff.
Nice. So out of all the business experience that you've kind of created on your own, what's like one of your biggest takeaways, like that you will for sure apply to whatever other venture you have down the road?
Just especially like in the beginning, like, don't do it alone. Ask for help. I think that's the biggest thing. Ask for help. Try to find somebody in the space that knows what they're doing, because your pride and your ego is going to destroy your business, thinking that you have all the answers or you're going to be able to do it alone. So, and I think like Jay-Z might have said it, owning 100% of nothing is nothing. So it's like, I was so caught up in equity, and I don't want to give up any equity. Like, bro, just find the right partners and just go at it together. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, is building a team first, and that with people who have experience. And if you're the smartest one, obviously you're not in the right room. So
Totally.
So that's the biggest thing. I just building a team and asking for help, and maybe finding a mentor in the space is probably
Well, that's huge. And that's like the reason why, because we do like Pineda Partners, where we like partner with companies, build them up and do everything. And they have the same mentality as you, where they come in, they're like, dude, like, I would rather have like a small piece of a really, really, really big pie. And I think Mark Cuban says it too. But yeah, same thing. Small piece of a big pie versus a like giant piece of nothing, right? Like
nothing.
it doesn't make sense. So I think a lot of the people who come to us are willing to give up equity, because they're like, I see the vision. I see where this can go if I bring the right partner on board, the right marketing channels, and then we all go make money together. So I think that's huge. And you mentioned also like building the team. Like, right. One of my favorite books is like Who Not How. I don't know if you've read it yet, but dude, if you haven't, you should. But it talks about that, where it's just, if you bring on all these smart people that are smarter than you in that specific field, right? So obviously you're killing it on social, but eventually, maybe bringing in another social person who's going to come in and do well, or another great operator, because that stuff is going to let you move on from like the stuff you don't like doing and the day to day, and then now you get to go do the fun stuff of opening a new store, building something else, or doing a brand new venture, whatever it is. So I think that's huge for sure.
Like, the only reason I did social is because I couldn't afford to pay anybody to do it. So it was just like I say, everything starting out in your first business, you're literally every single thing. And it's like, slowly but surely, let's get rid of it. Like I said, I have no problem shooting the content and doing stuff like that. It's just now like time. What's more important? My time isn't as important making this content anymore. It sucks because like the business is kind of the voiceover, so it's probably I have to do some part of it, but at some point we're gonna probably, when we partner with this group, that they're gonna they have the infrastructure. We need the infrastructure to grow, because like I said, we've taken it pretty much where we can at this point, with two people who are difficult to work with each other, because we have a life outside of we try to have a life outside of it and stuff.
Which is huge. So Serial Killers, how'd you even come up with that name?
It just, I think everybody, it's been like a Halloween costume when we were little. Like, you put like a knife on a box of cereal. So it just kind of went perfect with the cereal bar. It sucks because, so like right before we're opening, I find out there's a cereal bar in London called Serial Killer Cafe. And I'm like, oh crap. I was like, we've been printing out all these t-shirts, all these logos. And I was like, it's probably not the best idea. And then I was like, you know what? They're in London. I was like, whatever. Let's change it. Let's call it Serial Killer Kitchen and all this stuff. And unfortunately, COVID kind of got rid of them, so it made it a little easier. But it's a very common name in the cereal world, so it's not. It's just a play on words. That's all. So and it makes sense. But it kind of pushes the boundary. So it makes people stop, make people think. It's crazy that some people don't understand the name, so that's usually weird. I'm like, but So yeah, it's just easy play on words.
Yeah, nice. So we're almost done here, but one last piece of information that you want to share, like as far as business, entrepreneurship, or just life.
Yeah. Man, I can one on each. But for business, just take a chance. Don't live in regret. Like I said, we've all failed. I would say that mostly every entrepreneur has failed many a times, but you get better. You learn. Like I said, like I look at some old videos that I've shot. I was like, why would I ever post that, or why would I ever
Yeah.
do that? So it just really just take that leap of faith, because you never know what is going to work out for you. And if, at the end of the day, you have a lesson. Like, I mean, that's the worst that can happen. And what I'm still learning is that how I touched on, ask for help. I'm always been afraid of rejection, but I kind of just always tell myself the worst thing they can do is say no. So just take a risk. I would say, like, try to take at least 2 risks a day. Nipsey said something in some aspect to like, you're trying to build a wall, but just pretty much just focus on like trying to lay 1 brick a day. And then eventually you're going to look up and you're going to have a wall. Like, nothing's going to happen overnight. Yeah, you might get a viral video, so your sales might jump one day, but keeping that consistent is tough, because like everybody in the food world knows like Keith Lee and stuff. And, he can come in, he'll blow your business up, but like, just like every other foodie, slowly but surely, it settles down. Yeah. But how are you going to keep it up there? So you just have to just take a chance, try new stuff. I made a video, my first TikTok probably in 2 months. I made a video yesterday just talking about like reasons why I hate serial killers, but it was highlighting all the things I love. Yeah. Well, why would they let you choose all these great cereals? And in 2 days, it's getting close. Yeah. So it's just like, just take a chance. And that's just the biggest thing, is no idea is stupid. People, and oh yeah, Lord, I love saying this. Please understand, you guys on camera, your friends, like all your friends on social media, they're not your targeted customer. Like, they're not going to keep your business afloat. Like, stop getting mad at them for not supporting your business. Hopefully they'll repost it, but like, you're never going to make a successful business by selling your products to your friends. Like, just get that out of your head. Find your target demographic, do a business plan. They're hard, they're difficult, and you probably won't even follow it, honestly, like, because our business plan is so different from our day to day. But do it, so at least you know the minimum of what you need to do. But your friends are not your customers. I'm telling you, they're not.
That was the thing that stopped me from posting. So I had a TikTok that was doing okay. I had like 23,000 followers or whatever, but I wasn't posting it on my Instagram. Yeah. So I was like, oh, like, what are my friends gonna think? Like, what like, it's just gonna be so different. Then I'm like, my friends aren't paying my bills, and I love them. I love them to death, right? But like, I should be posting, because that's what's gonna drive revenue for me. It's gonna drive revenue for the businesses, all that type of stuff. So that's huge.
Definitely.
All right. So one last piece of information for life.
Well, one more.
Just for social media. No, we're going.
Your content, just repurpose it. So spend the $5 a month on those apps that will remove the watermark. Post it on Facebook, on YouTube Shorts, and then 3 or 4 months later, take those same videos and just do a new voiceover or put a new sound behind it. So just repurpose your content. Like, some days you're not going to have anything new to post. So just repost. Don't forget to reuse your concept. Break it up. And then life, don't start a business with your spouse. No, I'm playing. Like I said, whatever you believe in, whatever higher being you believe in, just have that trust and that faith that it's going to be okay. But understand that it always isn't going to be sunshine and rainbows. And you're going to fail. Just be okay with it. Let's say, that sounds real toxic. Be okay with failing, but understand that you're going to have bad days, and not everything is going to go according to how you want it to go. You're going to have some great days. You're going to have some bad days. Like, my favorite emoji to describe serial killers is just the roller coasters. I just put like 7 of them, because it's literally just like this. We'll have great months, $80,000 months at one store, and then we'll have $30,000 months at the same store. Like, it's a roller coaster. You never know year to year what changes. what events happening in Vegas. There's so many things that determine your success, I guess, outside forces. But really just, like I say, life, just take a chance. We only have one life to live. Just take a risk, Don't do it like I did, but take a risk.
Perfect. Cool, man. So where are your stores so people can go check out Serial Killerz, and where can they find you on social?
Okay. So if you're in Las Vegas, Centennial on Osa Blanca Road, Las Vegas Strip, you can go to Planet Hollywood inside the Miracle Mile shops, and go to downtown Salt Lake City inside of Hall Pass at Gateway, which is everybody in Salt Lake City knows where Gateway is. In the Phoenix area, it's a little smaller suburb called Goodyear. Our Instagram, all of our handles are at the Serial Killerz Kitchen. Our hashtag is Serial Killerz. Killerz has a Z, and cereal is spelled like the food cereal, not an actual murderer. Yeah.
Love it. Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for your time. I think this was a great episode.
Thank you.
Shared some great knowledge. So cut
Appreciate
it there.
it, man.
Peace.